Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday at 7:30. That means it is time for another episode of the Football Show with No Name. We got a packed house tonight, y'all. So let's just go ahead and introduce everybody, and then we'll get into some fantasy happiness, some fantasy sorrows, some bad beats, as Ian would call it. So let's go around and make the Hollywood squares here. We got Lauren down here next to me, Who Dat Nation. We got Big Jeff Ferg up top left. The commish joined us today, so he is in the house. And Mr. Ian the Champ is with us as always. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about, y'all, and we got a full house to do it. So this is fantastic. So Meryl wants to talk about some fantasy stuff. And like, this is championship week, y'all. This is going into championship week, and we have some really big decisions to make, like people that you would normally start. Do you sit? Yeah. So we will get into that with Ferg in a little while. So how is everybody doing this evening?
Who started?
Doesn't matter. Ian, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. So yeah, started with 21 leagues. I am out in 9, so I have 12 championship rosters.
Nice.
I am going up head to head against Lauren in one of my home leagues any given Sunday.
Projected to beat me like
already. You know what? This is like I feel like Obi-Wan, and you're like my Anakin. You're my Padawan, and
only you're projected to kick my ass, dude. It's not even going to be. I'm not even trying.
And let me see who I can put on the waiver wire.
Don't you dare, Jeff.
Hey, we can talk about that. We could definitely talk about that if you want.
No, I am absolutely thrilled that Lauren made it to the finals for 2 reasons.
Merry Christmas.
1, because I'm happy for Lauren to make it, and 2, there ain't no way in hell I was going to beat JM. So I am thrilled to see Lauren. At least
who I beat last week?
You beat JM. Yeah. You beat JM.
Huh, Meryl.
Oh, I had why? Because I had Breece Hall last weekend.
Oh, that makes sense.
And Mike Evans.
Amari Cooper.
Oh, look, love me some Mike Evans. Look, we'll get to all that for sure.
And Flacco.
Feeling good.
And Meryl, so how did you fare, Mr. Commish?
2 Super Bowls, man. Got 2 Super Bowls. Looking forward to it. One league I've been in for 25 years. Have never won. And it's an elusive championship. I've been in the I played in the Super Bowl in this. I think I've been in this league. Like it's been around for 25 years. I've been in it 23, and I think I've been in the Super Bowl 6 times, and always got snake bit. So
always a bridesmaid, never
always a bridesmaid, man. So trying to win this one, man.
That Swan Championship.
We'll see.
Yeah. Meryl, you're in the Super Bowl. So the show league's been around for 2 years, and you have now made it to the finals. Won it last year. Now you're in the final game this year. I just point that out to you. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's what the commish does. That's why he's the commish. This is what happens. So, Ferg, so we talked earlier, and I asked you to condense your information here because we all know that you're in 173 leagues. And so how many championships did you make, and how many do you actually think that you could have a viable
it's easy number. I got the number. It is 123 down to, unfortunately, because of Brock Purdy, it dropped down to 21 championship games. Technically 22 because we play in a league with another dude that actually goes to week 18.
What?
Playoffs. So last week was my bye week in that week. So this week is my first week, but I'm like 12-1 in that league. I have the most time.
Ferg, get out of that league. That's
terrible.
You can't. Get out of a few of them next year.
In the 21 that are gonna occur between tomorrow night and Sunday night, because we don't have a Monday night game. So yeah, you'll have your money.
Yeah, I
don't know if you won by Monday morning, by Sunday night. I am in 21 championship games. I feel good about 12 of them.
It's not
bad.
That's
good.
The others, I just kind of backed in, or was like, "Hey, I started George Pickens. Shit happened." Stuff like that. Shit like that. That's how it happened. And so as I look at like some of the matchups, like I'm supposed to score like 120, but the dude I'm gonna play against supposed to score like 170. Yeah. Like you can't make that shit up on no waiver wire and shit like that. It just is what it is. So
yeah,
I would say 12.
So speaking of the George Pickens, if Kiasha, I know you're listening here in the background. Maryland said before, if you would have played Pickens, you would have beat Justin. So that really sucks. Lauren, how did you fare this weekend?
So I had 4 leagues this year. I made it to the finals in 3. I got knocked out of the show league. It was King Ole, who's now my new favorite competitor. And then the one that I think hurt the most, I was talking about earlier, was that league that we drafted the second episode of the show.
Yep, because your
and
team was dominant.
Zay Flowers was on injured, and I had to make a decision. It was we only have 4 bench spots. So I was like, do I put JSN in, or do I just roll with it and say, well, if he doesn't play, then I'm sure there's nothing I could have done at that point. I would have got a 0. So I played JSN thinking DJ Moore would cover the spread. If I had played Zay Flowers, I would have won.
Yeah.
4 for 4.
Yeah, that's a little
hate when that happens.
Sucky. I mean, but tis fantasy football, right? Tis fantasy football.
It's like that hindsight is a bitch sometimes.
Oh yeah. Well, Ferg was telling me earlier, we were talking on the phone, he has a friend that lost on the Lamar Jackson kneel down because of the negative.
Negative
right.
0.1, yep.
Yeah.
-1
and so he lost because of that.
Is the
and that is brutal. So I have kind of a similar story that I was telling the guys before you came on is in our league of record that Ferg and Merrill and I are in together, Hoofnagel, that the 23 years or whatever.
The one I'm on the wait list for.
Yeah, the one you're on the wait list for. So I had Lamar Jackson and they had Fred Warner, and I needed Lamar to outscore Fred Warner by 15 points. And so Lamar, I was up by 1. Oh, I was up by half a point.
Oh, because you guys are
So I was up by half a point. And then the Ravens went on their last drive of the game, and the last play of that drive, Fred Warner got a pass breakup, and I lost by a half a point because of that.
That's like
right.
That's like infuriating.
Right, but I'm in the championship game in 2 leagues. One of them is a 2-quarterback league, and the other one is Lucky 13, which Merrill and Ferg and I are in as well together, which I've never been in the championship game in this league, so I'm pretty excited. But again, my 2 championship leagues are Christian McCaffrey teams. And as I was telling the guys, 59.8% of championship teams are made up of at least one Christian McCaffrey owner. So
that's who I played last week. Yeah. But Breece Hall did better than that was
it's and the 2 championship games I'm playing against are Travis Kelce teams. And so it's weird because he's not even playing very well. On wood. So I did pretty well. I did pretty well this weekend, and I still have some hope out there. So
and they
just think back for a second here, if you could, to all the many drafts you were in.
Yep.
How many drafts were you actually in that somebody took CMC first this year? Like every other year, given, I'm taking them. But how many drafts did people actually take CMC first this year?
So it was Hoofnagel. For
Justin
sure.
Jefferson.
One out of your
Justin got him right.
Out of your 12.
Didn't Justin get him first, or did
I don't recall seeing CMC go first anytime we drafted. It was a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Travis Kelce fight.
So in most leagues,
depending on whether it was a 2 QB.
So most non-superflex, non-2-quarterback leagues, you saw Justin Jefferson go first in a lot of those. I had the first overall pick in our show league, and I went with Justin Jefferson.
Sure.
And literally the minute that I selected him, I said, fuck, I wanted to take CMC.
CMC, right. Yeah.
Jefferson, Chase, or CMC went first in 29 out of 30 leagues that were not super flex or 2-quarterback, and Travis Kelce was going first in the rest of those leagues. So,
and that's crazy to me. I mean, and the people that picked Travis Kelce first are not loving that pick for sure. Definitely, it's a wasted draft pick. It's a number 4. It's a 4th round value for a 1st round pick. So look, I want to talk about fantasy a lot, but I want that to be kind of the focus. I want to give Ferg the stage for a second to talk about his boys beating them boys and going down to the wire in what was supposed to be the game of the week, which, I mean, that's cool. The Niners Ravens was shitty. Merrill said something in our group text like we were looking forward to this all week. we're looking forward to this all week, and this is
awesome.
what we get. I mean, kind of situation because the Niners didn't show up. But so, Ferg, let's talk to you for a second. How do you feel about your Dolphins?
I mean, I was riding a high on Christmas Day. It was like I was snorting with Tony Montana. It was a great day for me. It was a bad day for a lot of people who had to call and pay me and didn't want to talk to me for the week. But got some Facebook threats. But are you really doing your job? Are you really trolling properly if you're not getting Facebook threats?
No,
of course not.
Not especially not to Dallas fans.
Yeah, Dallas fans. I told Merle on the way to the game. I think we were out. I was Christmas Eve. Was that Christmas Eve? Christmas Day? Something. I was out, and I talked to Merle right before the game, and I told him, I'm gonna be honest. As a true Miami fan, I would rather win this game than us go to the Super Bowl. It's more important. We can go to the Super Bowl next year. This right here, this was more important than that. If you had to live in the circle or fishbowl of Cowboy fans that I live in, this was more important than that. So
this is more important.
F you, Jerry. Y'all ain't them boys.
Y'all ain't them boys.
Y'all ain't them
So-
boys.
Y'all
No,
miss
so-
Amari Cooper a little bit right now.
Now I will say, whoever decided to bet the under won because it was a 47-point over/under from what I remember, and it was a 22-20 win, right? Ferg, 22-20.
22-20, yeah.
Yeah, 22-20. And it took a last minute drive to keep the clock going. And a Tyreek Hill first down from Tua.
But I think I told you that earlier. That is normally what has happened through Miami this year.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they've played great football, didn't get the ball last, and lost those close games. Or something that like they got what I thought was gonna happen was it's gonna be another game where it was not a bad penalty, but a penalty did them in. In Philly, it was because we didn't get penalties. That Dallas game Dallas could have done something. I mean, we got those two. They gave them 2 penalties. They had 8 chances inside like the 4 or 5 yard line. Their problem was there was too much time on the clock. Normally, as a Dolphins fan over the last 40 years, it's us on the other end of that. Oh, we just scored with 3 minutes. The stadium's rocking. Here comes Brady up the field. Game over. Here comes Ken O'Brien up the field. Game over. Here comes Jim Kelly up the field. Game over. I have seen so many games like that. I don't recall the last Miami game I saw where they got the ball last and had enough running back juice to be like, here, hand it off. We're going to run this shit down your fucking throat, and you're never going to get the ball back.
You guys did something
that hasn't happened in
years ago. Like Brady was still there. There was something with Gronkowski. It was in Miami.
Might have done something.
Kenyon Drake. That was the Kenyon Drake
one of those wild.
Something wild happened again. Now I can't remember.
Had the ball, but that's some fluky shit. That Wildcat shit they ran that year. That was fluky.
Yep, fluky.
Came and went. Turn it around.
Kenyon Drake, you're right.
That's a Kenyon Drake game.
Jeff Wilson, A-Chain. That doesn't happen in Miami. If that happens next week or going forward, because we have clinched the playoff spot, I mean, I like Miami's chances just as good as any. I won't say they're the favorite, but I like their chances just as good as any if you can run the ball.
But you don't bench your guys because you're playing for home field, right?
Not this. Well, I take that back. A lot of stuff depends on what happens with us this weekend. If we beat Baltimore,
right,
and all of a sudden there's this race to be like, hey, you could get a bye and get all these games at home. You gotta play your guys.
Yeah, you gotta play your guys.
I love you, but you're not beating Baltimore.
I was gonna say, no offense, man, but
why do you think that?
Okay,
so hold on. Before we talk, before we talk about that, before we go into that, let's throw it to Lauren for what's the feel like in Baltimore after the game against the Niners. You said you wanted to talk about this. So after the beat down against the Niners, what was it? 30 something to 12?
Yeah. Well,
something like that.
Going into that game, okay. I was kind of worried for the Ravens, and they're right down the street from me. I've learned to like them. I was kind of like, I don't know if how this is gonna play out, because I thought personally until this last weekend, I was like 49ers are probably gonna win the Super Bowl. That's how I felt about it. And then I didn't even watch the game because we were opening presents. I watched the highlights, and like the scoring twice in 18 seconds was pretty awesome, but 5 interceptions. And I'm watching that, and everybody's just like electric around here with it. The defense looked amazing, offense looked amazing. And then I have to say this too as a side note for all the Baltimore Ravens fans watching. We know that Joe Flacco has made the Browns better, guys. We know.
Yeah.
He did his job. He was never a bad. He was kind of a shitty, but whatever. But yeah,
we'll talk. He was a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
He was
for the Ravens. So
he was a quarterback on a defense that won a Super Bowl.
Trent Dilfer is also, as I said, Trent Dilfer is also a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So is Brad Johnson. So he's also a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
To him, like Joe Flacco looks better than Deshaun Watson. So I've heard that's actually more the grumbling that's going on around here now. People are pretty butthurt about Joe. Anything else?
We'll talk about that when we get into the fantasy segment. We'll talk about
real football. Real football, though, he's doing better.
Yeah. Oh no, he's definitely. I mean, they're 10-5. So yeah, they're an AFC playoff team at the moment, and I don't see them not being a playoff team.
Last week, that was insane what Amari Cooper did last weekend. It was insane.
Unbelievable
records. Like that was insane. So
since we want to go fantasy, Lauren's comment is a good segue into what we were talking about earlier, whether we're going to make some lineup decisions, we're going to go this guy or that guy. And the very first guy on the list, we will run a list, and we're going to say, because if you played him, you played Flacco the last 4 weeks, you probably won.
You and I talked about this earlier.
You won those matchups because he hasn't been less than the top 10. He's getting 300 yards a game.
You're welcome.
He's throwing the ball 44 times a game since he got there. But they are playing the Jets this week, who only give up 168.
I like Joe Flacco against the Jets. Play for the revenge game. I like it.
So we're going to name fantasy quarterbacks. This is fantasy. Not worry about the game. Versus Joe Flacco. Would you play Joe Flacco over this guy?
I like him in the Jets.
Especially in your championship. So first on the list, would you play Joe Flacco over Matt Stafford this week?
No.
Nope.
No.
Would you play Joe Stafford?
Well, hold on. Who are the Rams playing?
They're
Giants.
Giants.
No way.
No.
Absolutely not.
Would you play Joe Flacco over Jordan Love?
Yes, maybe. Who is Green Bay playing? Do the matchups here first.
I'm looking on the screen.
Why can I not find it? I put it right in front of my face. They're at Minnesota. I would.
I don't know.
It's inside. I don't. It's in Cleveland. Outside.
They've really shut people out. Like
we'll double back to him.
Is it in Cleveland?
Half a dozen of another.
Would you play Joe Flacco over Minshew?
Yes.
Wait, let me ask you a question. What did Tua do against the Jets? Because that's how I would base my decision.
Tell us who they're playing when you say the quarterback matchup.
Well, we got to go back to the other list then. All right, so pull that up.
But how did Tua do when he played the Jets?
You can't go back because the Tua game was different because they had Tyreek for a half, then did have Tyreek. I don't know how that would have gone.
Still,
had they not had Tyreek the whole game.
And some of these games are making bad quarterbacks look worse. It's not.
All right, so here we go. All right, I got the list. All right, so would you go? I'm just go straight down.
243, 1 and 2
over Bailey Zappi against Buffalo.
Yes.
Sorry. Yes.
Flacco over Justin Fields at home against the Falcons.
No.
Not
a chance. Not a chance in hell.
Flacco over either Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, who played each other. Raiders.
Yes. Both.
So Flacco over both of them.
Yep.
Yes.
Flacco over
maybe not Minshew.
Bryce.
Okay. Yes. Before you even say it, yes.
All right, Bryce Young at Jacksonville.
Yes.
Or Trevor Lawrence at home.
Trevor Lawrence.
Panthers. Would you pay Flacco over them?
You
don't know if Lawrence is going to play yet.
Okay, so here's the question I want to piggyback on you for, because you and I talked about this earlier, right? So in my championship league, and this is my Lucky 13 team, I have been streaming quarterbacks for about 7 weeks, and got into the championship game, won the league, and got into the championship game, and I had Russell Wilson in my lineup, but he got benched. For the last 2 games of the year for contract reasons.
Oh, that's
because they'll have to pay him $1 billion or whatever contract.
Also,
whatever.
They're gonna have to pay him anyway.
Yeah, so
I've never heard that before.
I had to sit Russell Wilson, and my other option is Joe Flacco, right? So the Jets have the number 1 pass defense in the league. They're really hard to throw against. It is in Cleveland, so that's a plus for Joe Flacco. He throws the ball 45 times,
what prompted
and they can't run the ball.
Flacco versus the world.
But this is like my dilemma now is I picked up Baker Mayfield. And so the last time Baker Mayfield played the New Orleans Saints, he went for 249 and 3 and scored 29 fantasy points. And that was in New Orleans. And this one's in Tampa. So would you play Baker Mayfield or Joe Flacco?
I would play Baker Mayfield over half of the quarterbacks in the league right now.
Okay. All right. Merrill, what do you think?
Baker Mayfield.
Wait, ask the question again.
Flacco over Mayfield. Yes
Flacco or Baker Mayfield? So Baker Mayfield against New Orleans. Hey, Ian, your mic's way up on your head. Baker Mayfield against New Orleans. And last time he faced New Orleans, he went for 249 and 3, scored 29 fantasy points. Or you got Joe.
Lattimore's playing.
Lattimore, I don't believe.
No, Lattimore's
I don't believe Lattimore's not there, which is
Mike
great
Evans
for Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is playing. That's all that matters.
Yeah. If Lattimore was playing, then I'd say definitely no.
Let's see.
I just don't believe Joe Flacco is going to throw for 300 yards against the Jets. I just don't believe it.
No, Marcus Lattimore is on IR.
I don't believe Joe Flacco is going to throw for 300 yards. I don't believe.
No, he's going to throw it 44 times.
My issue with Joe Flacco is not an issue. Is that, like you said, they're going to throw it 44 times.
Yeah,
they can't run it. I think Cleveland's defense is good enough against Trevor Siemian that they're going to end up with the ball like short field half the time.
Yes. Yeah.
So if they can't run it, I feel like Njoku and if Cooper plays, they'll have big games, and Flacco could have 3 touchdowns. And 199 yards passing.
So what?
Touchdowns just because they can't run the ball.
So Boomer Esiason said he loved Joe Flacco because he put up old school quarterback numbers. He put up 322 and 3. Right? I mean, that's the kind of shit you're going to get out of Joe Flacco.
He did the tush push by himself without being pulled. He put
I'm going to sit here and tell you. Look,
so
you're 6'9".
He did old school.
We're missing a really important comparison here. And Jeff, I'm sorry to do this to you, but we have to post this same question of would you start Joe Flacco versus the Jets? And mind you, Cleveland has, in my opinion, a better defense. That's just my opinion. Or Joe Flacco or Tua. Now listen about Tua here. Tua sucks against good defenses. Hasn't put up 20 fantasy points since week 8. Has averaged less than 15 over the last 4 weeks, and he's playing against the defense that just forget Purdy, smothered the entire 49ers.
Now we're at home.
I would take Flacco.
I might take Flacco in this
over
situation.
Tua this week.
That's a good point.
Most weeks, no. This week, I would take Flacco over Tua, given these circumstances.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
I have to rewind on your question, and you'd have to first tell me, do you believe that if Tua was running the offense that Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy got to run with those weapons, would you think that Tua would throw 5 interceptions in a game? Because Purdy damn near could have threw 8.
Dude,
the Ravens dropped 4. They dropped 4.
Dude, Tua has those weapons. What the hell are you talking about?
No.
Are you serious?
Are you saying that the Miami offense is better than the 49ers offense?
I'm saying it's minus George Kittle.
No, that was the question. If you
minus George Kittle,
if you drop Tua into that,
Jeff, you have to.
What's the difference?
You have to look at recent history. Tua has not been good. I would argue he's been borderline bad against good defense.
I don't know how you could start Flacco in front of Tua and then still have the balls to start Mostert, Hill, or Waddle in your lineup. Because if they're getting off, then Tua's getting off.
Tua's
other than Njoku, and hopefully Cooper plays if he's not hurt.
Flacco's
who the hell is Flacco gonna throw the ball to? If Cooper doesn't play, I don't want no parts of Flacco.
Njoku, Elijah Moore,
You talking about Elijah Moore? You talking about Elijah Moore that the Jets just shipped to Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first, before we answer Brittany's question, I want to bring something to your attention that you and I spoke about earlier. This is one of those situations where who are you going to feel better with scoring 35 points on the bench?
That was going to be my
Who are you better with that? Between Tua and Flacco,
go back to your original draft and how you got these dudes. Whether you gave up draft picks, you stole them, whatever it is you did. And now it is now March. It's March 15th. You've gotten those deposits from League Safe. Ian has sent out the money for who won. Would you feel worse or better? Would you feel better or worse if you lost your championship game because you sat here and went Flacco and Tua went for 25? Or Tua, you played Tua over Flacco. Tua went for 11 and 12. Flacco went for 20. You could have won. Which one of those would make your stomach hurt worse? That you lost to the dude that you took in the 5th, 6th round, or a dude that was sitting on his couch at Thanksgiving?
So we have all been in that situation. We have all been in a fantasy game or a championship game where if I had just started this guy. So you know me, Jeff. You've known me for what, 5-6 years now. So you know that I will follow most often my mantra of play your studs. You play your guys that got you there. I'm in a trade. I traded with Brandon in our league mid-season and picked up Tua. At mid-season, Tua was putting up 20, 25, 30 points per game.
He was in that conversation. Yeah.
If this was the same Tua, if Tua was still playing at that MVP level, this would be a no-brainer. It's the same exact question as saying, in your championship game, are you considering benching Stephon Diggs?
I am.
And the answer is yes. You're
that was my next question.
Because over
I had
the
that
last
written
6
down.
weeks, he's averaging 8.3 points per game. Do you want to leave your stud on your bench? It is the same exact question.
I don't equate the two
Can I just add one thing to it?
Because I just feel like I can't equate that because I've seen Diggs. He's reliant on somebody else to do their job. If you're telling me that Waddle and Hill, even if you own them together on the same team, you're starting
First
both
of all, Waddle
they're your first and second wide receiver. Waddle is going to play according to Mike McDaniel approximately 2 hours ago. He just practiced.
Waddle's not playing.
They're all liars.
Mostert is
Waddle is playing today. Why you want us to be bad?
All right, hold on.
Why you want us to be bad? Why you don't want us to play at home?
Yes.
What's with all the Dolphin hate? Why you don't want us to play at home?
But Jeff, do you think Waddle's going to be effective with a high ankle sprain? Do you think he's going to be like Waddle?
I think. See, the question. Look, I'm relating the question just to Tua from Tua's perspective. Is it going to be easier for Tua to deal with Tyreek and whatever other combination of Durham, Smythe, Cedric Wilson, or whoever he has to throw the ball to, if Waddle is at least out there as a decoy, or as if he's not there at all? We need you to be on the field. If nothing else, I just need some other safety to pay just the slightest attention to you, because we see what happens to Tyreek and Waddle on the same side. Right. If he runs that in cut and you go outside with Waddle.
Jeff, you're making the critical mistake that kills people in fantasy. And here is your critical error. And it's a critical thinking error, is you are starting your team with your heart.
Yes.
No.
You are a Dolphins fan.
This is the original rule. There is no one here, unless we're in some crazy dynasty league, that had Flacco on their team to start the year.
No, but
you drafted Tua. If you were in a 2 QB, you probably took Tua first, depending on where you drafted, because you had access to Hill and Waddle. I'm not getting to week 17, and I'm going to rely on some dude that was on his couch 4 weeks ago, as opposed to a dude out there throwing balls with Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mostert, A-Chain. I'm not doing that.
I get that you're like a big Dolphin. I understand.
No. Forget the Dolphins.
Let me finish.
That's what matters.
The Ravens are playing at home. Yeah. It's cold. It's New Year's Eve, and I don't know, but Baltimore's a lot tougher than Miami as a city. So coming to Baltimore is a whole other ballgame.
Do you know what this conversation sounds like?
And Joe Flacco's playing at home.
Every Ravens 49ers comparison last week.
The Ravens want the number 1 seed. The Dolphins are going to get their asses kicked.
You guys are sounding like Mike Florio talking about Lamar. Remember when Mike Florio said that they were going to get their asses kicked? And what did Lamar have to do? Now you know that I'm petty as shit. I am going to.
Let me just say one more thing about Flacco.
Next week when we win this game.
As this relates to Flacco, just the last thing to say real quick is that it's a Thursday game and the expected point total is like 35.
35.
I just don't know if you want to put that quarterback in that game.
But their expected point total is in the mid-20s because they're a 6.5 point favorite or 7 point favorite, right? So
I wouldn't play. Neither one of them sound great.
What did Brock Williams negative 2 points?
You know what's going to happen?
He did not have great.
Flacco's going to suck ass. Myles Garrett's going to run one back. Jerome Ford's probably going to score. And 2 people on the Jets defense are going to score. And it's going to come down to whether Dustin Hopkins' hamstring hasn't fell off or the Jets head kicker. And it's going to be a bullshit-ass game that ends with some bullshit.
Don't play.
I wouldn't fuck with either one of them personally.
I'm playing Cooper.
Yeah, I'd play Cooper.
Well, you gotta play Cooper. He just played the greatest game of all time.
Now I'm leaving Flacco in against you now, Ian, just because.
But see, if Flacco could have Flacco could go 22 for 47 for 160 and 120 could beat Omari. You know what I'm saying? The other 40 beat Njoku.
Yeah.
Would you start Flacco Thursday versus the Jets or Jared Goff on the road at Dallas? But Dallas is good. I don't know.
They'll be chasing. They'll be chasing points.
They'll be chasing. Exactly.
How about
they average 40 points a game at home, bro.
How about Tua or Goff?
I think Goff's a good question.
It's not even close. It's indoors.
I would be
Goff only because it's the Ravens.
Well,
no other time.
Right.
Only
it's indoors
too, so can't they take their foot off?
But don't act like we ain't seen Goff put up some 1 and 2 point games this year.
Right.
Don't act like you don't give a stinker. And then he kills Amon-Ra. He kills Gill. He kills Montgomery.
Dallas averages 40 points a game at home. So they're going, just like Merrill said, they're going to be chasing points. So I'm
going to stick with what I said a month ago to the faithful Dallas fans that I know have watched this show. You're going to lose 3 out of 4. So if you don't believe that Dallas is going to lose to Washington next week, that means Dallas is going to lose again.
This is a must-win situation for Dallas to get to the playoffs.
They're going to beat the shit out of Detroit. They're going to beat the shit out of Detroit, but they're going to lose.
I don't think so. I feel it in the air. It's the Dallas time of year. It's the cowboy weather. It's like catching pneumonia. Cowboys beat Cowboys.
Detroit thinks they've won the Super Bowl.
I don't care what. I'm glad Detroit 8 Mile fans. You get to be happy. If you're a Detroit fan and you're like 40 years old, you have had a terrible life. I mean, like, you know how long when you win in like the 4th grade, you be like, yeah, it's gonna be like this every year. That's what the Dolphins saying. Oh my God, I was 10 years old. We went to the Super Bowl. Oh, this is gonna be like this all the time. I'm about to be 50.
Eminem said everybody in the 313.
Everybody. So
and follow me, right? But
I'm telling you, I got Detroit over Dallas this week.
Do me a favor, bring up Brittany's original question, and then bring up her. So go up, bring up her original question, and then the bench. About the bench comment. So
Kamara, Debo, Ayuk.
Brittany, is there money?
You got a lot of 49ers.
Is there money?
49ers have a good matchup this week.
Is there money?
No, this is I think she said it was a family league, so it's probably more pride for third.
I mean,
and probably depending on
I like the 49ers this week, and I think they're going to be trying to run the sport.
That's a lot of 49ers.
So
it's the ones that matter. It's the ones that matter. All right, so what I would bring up the bench, Ferg, because you got Garrett Wilson.
She didn't put her bench. She put up their team.
No. Go down to the next one.
I think Trevor Simeon's better than Zach Wilson, though.
This is your bench?
Yeah, that one. So you look, if Jacob plays, you take out who was it? Garrett Wilson.
I have Olave on the bench.
He's gonna have a good game this week.
Right. Well, Olave's been hurt, bro.
If Pittman plays, Pittman's in.
She has Garrett
Pittman
Wilson.
has to start if he plays.
If Pittman
over any of these guys.
There's your answer, Brittany. So if Pittman is playing, you play Pittman
over any of these guys.
But then
Olave.
If not, you put in Olave.
Yes. If
No.
Pittman is playing,
Whether
you
it's
start
Jamal or
Pittman
Jameson
over
Williams,
Debo or
Benjamin.
Brandon Ayuk.
Are you?
If you-
Do you know that the 49ers are playing the Commanders, right?
Do you know how many targets Michael Pittman gets a game if he's playing?
109.
See, that's the problem with the 49ers. The 49ers are
I don't agree with
they
that.
are right when everybody's there.
The
Now, if you
49ers
tell me
game
one
is
of those
going to-
49ers starts
No,
aren't
the
going to play,
49ers
then
game
yes,
is going.
they're always
is going-
better when it's only 3 of them instead of 4 superstars.
But
The
Always
49ers
better.
game is going to be over at halftime, and you're going to have Sam Darnold and Jordan Mason and
Yeah, I
Ronnie
don't want no
Bell
parts of
and
that.
Will and
That okay? That I'll give you. But
Get
They're not going to
Ayuk,
get the numbers.
I would-
Wilson, and Williams out of that lineup.
well, get Wilson.
Yeah, you
sure
take them out. Yeah,
You
Garrett
take
Wilson
Garrett
should be
Wilson
nowhere
out.
near your play. He should
No,
be
Take
out.
Garrett Wilson out for sure.
out.
That's a wrap. He's not going to do
I
anything.
play
Whether that-
Lockett before I play Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
Whether
I
this
play
is
you, Ferg, before I play
Jamal
Garrett.
Williams or
Garrett.
Jamison Williams, it doesn't matter.
No,
Get him
it
out.
should be
Devontae?
Jamal.
Give me some of Jameson.
Get him out. Get him
Give me
out.
some Jameson.
Yeah,
You
it
better
should be
play
Javonte.
Olave.
The Broncos
think
don't care anymore.
Chris
so
Play
Olave
Michael
should have a
Pittman.
good game this week. Chris, he has to.
Yeah.
It's a must win for the Saints. Tampa Bay's secondary is awful.
yeah,
I
yeah.
do like Olave a lot this week.
All right, so let's talk about some more fantasy stuff. Let's talk about some people that did really well and got people to their championship leagues. And let's start off with Joe Flacco, because dude, what did 368-3, right, with 2 picks. He got me personally 35.82 points, and more importantly, they got the win, which took them to 10-5. But Flacco had a really good game. He took a lot of people, which now is because I can't play him now. Right, because they are playing the Jets and there are better matchups out there. So, and then you got Amon. I can, but I'm not going to. So Amon Ra had a really good game. So since we were talking about him a second ago, he had 14 targets, 12 catches for $106 and a touch.
The sun god.
Right. So Amon Ra has been incredible. Like all year, just been model of consistency. Just the consistency.
He is the number 3 wide receiver in the league with missing 1 game. Not his bye. He missed the game.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah,
still
no,
number
he's-
3 overall.
He's just been super consistent. He's obviously
Unreal.
Jared Goff's favorite target. Him and Sam Laporta, who did not have a good week last week.
No,
Kinda-
that did me under in a league.
It did me too.
What's going on,
He's one of the reasons. And then we've already talked about him, so we'll go ahead and mention Christian McCaffrey. I mean, you just can't. Like the guy scores 20 points a game in fantasy. It's through it, and it's not just this year. It's in his career. He has averaged, I think it was 21 points per game in a half-point PPR fantasy league, and that is crazy.
He's in a league of his own.
Yeah, so whenever he's healthy, he is the elite, the number 1 alpha running back out there as far as fantasy football goes. And I want to give a small shout out to Zamir White, because Josh Jacobs was a game time decision. And what did Zamir White do? Went up 22 carries for a $145, right?
No
it helped me win my game because of him stepping up. And luckily I had him and I stashed him. Right.
Yeah.
So, who do you guys want to bring up? Anybody that helped you guys get to your fantasy championship?
Brees Hall's. I love me some.
We
Brees
talked
Hall.
about him earlier, right?
Love
Okay.
him.
Amari Cooper, league
Oh.
record 56.5
Mike Evans.
points in my league.
Oh, you know what? Mike Evans. He's another 100 yards and 2 touchdowns?
He's always Mike. He's Mike
man.
Evans.
He's unreal.
Man, he is
And
so
I
good.
was like, when do you think he's gonna slow down? Because I'm like, at this point, I thought he was
He'll
on.
quit first.
Well, he's a
It's
free
not.
agent.
Yeah.
He's a free
He'll
agent
quit first.
after the season.
Mm.
Is Mike
Yep.
Evans a Hall of Famer?
God damn it. Are you in my head? I was just about to
think
ask that
so.
question.
I
Jesus
think
Christ.
8 straight seasons of 1,000 yards.
Ten.
Of
he's
course,
still-
Mike Evans is a Hall of
10.
Famer.
Is it
Let's
10?
see.
10
10.
straight
If
seasons.
Mike Evans ain't a Hall of
Now-
Famer, they need to shut that shit down.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Shut that
I
shit
mean,
down.
He just is.
Yeah.
Let's see career stats for Mike Evans. 73 games. No, that's not right. No, hold on a second. 756 games, 11,588 and 94.
Jesus.
That's crazy.
That's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely a Hall of Famer with those numbers. I mean, I don't think
Maybe,
there's any.
maybe not first ballot, but he's a Hall of
Mhm.
Famer.
I mean, no, he should be first ballot. But you know what, though? Ever since there was one vote that didn't go for Ken Griffey Jr., I have zero faith in any kind of voting system for Hall of Fames at all, period. So because he should have been the first unanimous Hall of Famer. Anyway, so Mike Evans was definitely great. Amari Cooper,
Olave got me in.
Yeah.
No, Olave had.
Calvin Ridley.
It's not that I don't love Olave; it's just I don't trust Derek Carr.
So let's talk about Ridley real quick. This dude had negative points at halftime.
Yeah.
Negative points, and then came for what, like 6 for 92 and 2 touchdowns. It was just absolutely bonkers. Like just that turnaround was absolutely bonkers, right? I'd like to give a shout out to Derrick Henry. Even though I did not win the league, he got me 27 points. And like he did nothing but score. Like he had another passing touchdown. I think that's his second.
I love when he does that. It's so bizarre.
I think he has more passing touchdowns than Ryan Tannehill does this season.
How about another shout out to Jeff's favorite, our podcast favorite, Puka.
Again.
I have a friend that's probably listening. His name is Mitch. He sat Puka.
I did too. I sat him. I still won.
He did not.
How could you?
So Merrill, he's one of those 2
I sat him for
fantasy.
DJ Moore, and it worked out for me.
I'm not sitting for nobody.
Look, okay, so Merrill, so he's one of the guys that plays in a league that has 2-week championships, which we will talk about in a second. But I want to say something about a consistent fantasy player for me. This team is no longer, so this is the last thing I'm going to say about this. Chuba Hubbard has been amazing. He has been nothing short of just consistent football for fantasy. Dude scores 15 to 20 points a game. And I am super sad that I will not have the team anymore going out there that has Chuba Hubbard on it.
You know the best part of Chuba Hubbard, that he was able to fight off the Miles Sanders curse.
Oh, yes. Miles Sanders.
That our fantasy teams were not able to fight off for the last 3 years.
Garbage. Always.
You know what's funny?
Garbage.
Hey, you want to hear something funny, Ferg? So in Hoopnagel, I drafted Miles Sanders in the 5th round and got Chuba Hubbard off free agency.
That's crazy.
I want to throw a curveball here and ask you guys a question.
Please.
On the polar
No
opposite
agenda.
of this, who did you draft that was absolute trash, disappoint? Like last year, I could have killed Jonathan Taylor, but who's your trash player for this?
What
year?
round do we stop in, Lauren?
I would say first, second, third, first.
Let me tweak Lauren's question just for a second, just my response to her and the uproar from when Lauren traded me Dameon Pierce last year in Any Given Sunday. And how she has scammed and abused me for that pick. He is trash. So that was worse than any draft pick that I made. Like I gave up future assets for this fucking bum.
So I think mine is somebody who is killing everybody, but has a really good matchup against Denver this week. So I'm running him out again. Austin Eckler. Has been a disappointment.
Yeah.
He's got like 4 or 5 20-point games. Other than that, he's just nothing. He missed 4 games, but he's got that matchup against Denver as a bottom 3. Got to roll him out.
Okay. Yeah. So can I ask you a question and point out something? Denver's been much better over the back half of the year defensively.
Mm-hmm. Right? Take out the 70-point game.
Take the 70-point game out of there, probably. I don't know if they're bottom 3 if you take that. Anyway, they've been much better recently, right? And so, I mean, they got me 20-some points.
They weren't really good against the Patriots.
So, but they still got like 4 or 5 sacks, some 4th down stops, stuff like that, right? So it's like, do you play them this week against Easton Stick and the Chargers?
What's your alternative, though?
Denver's defense.
Do you play Denver's defense?
I don't know who you would put against Austin Eckler.
You probably find a better matchup.
Well, Los Angeles is out there.
You can find something better.
The Rams are out there against Tyrod, which I already told you.
Give me some Rams. Rams defense in the last 10 weeks, unbelievable.
The Jags defense against Carolina, but they're probably going to have Connor Beathard, so I don't want any part of that, right?
CJ Beathard, yeah.
Or sorry, CJ Beathard. And then you got Indianapolis and Philly. I don't want any part of those either.
And Arizona plays Philly.
Yeah. I don't want any of that. James Conner's been great.
Let me get some of the Rams.
Like you'd rather play the Rams over the Broncos?
Absolutely. Yes. You mean starting their defense?
Yeah.
Against the Giants? Hands down.
And Tyrod Taylor?
He
Yeah.
might
And Saquon?
not get sacked. It's easier
Yeah.
to sack.
Saquon is
Vito.
questionable.
Man,
It's also easier to
I
sack
don't know.
Easton Stick than
I
Tyrod
can't see
Taylor.
that guy's narrative.
But I feel like you're
Nah,
more
Stick-
likely to get
Stick's
a
so
Easton
mobile, but-
Stick pick six to the house
This is what I'm
than
talking
you
about.
are the
yeah.
other way.
Patrick
So I'm gonna
Surtain.
go with Surtain or somebody like that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Denver.
That's
give
what
me
I
your
was thinking
Give me
too.
your trash pick, Jeff. I want to hear this trash pick because I'm sure it's amazing.
Which one? My trash draft pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Anybody in
the, not the
Hoofnagel in the
Pierce
first
from
round?
last.
I would have to say, as a whole, collectively, every draft that I took
Travis
in the
Kelce.
first round.
Yep. I knew it.
Kelsey? You
Yeah.
said instead of Kelsey?
Yeah.
None of those teams that I took Kelce in the first round survived or were able to overcome.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
with great waiver pickups,
Yeah.
trades, none of them were
That's
able
hard
to
'cause you gave
overcome
up
the fact that you would get like 4 points from the goddamn your number one guy. Like
I
he's
got
your
Chase
number
Daniels
one.
first round.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
no,
I took
get
traded
Kelce in
Kelce
some
away.
rounds. Like there are 2 QB leagues or 7 flex leagues where I took Kelce and then went like a quarterback and like 4 receivers in a row because I'm like I can just play Kelce as basically my
Yeah.
other quarterback. I'm good, and I couldn't overcome him getting 5 points a game. Everybody else in that position was getting minimum 16,
Yeah.
17, 18.
Trey
I mean,
McBride
when
is
he's-
filling Travis Kelce all
He was
season.
bad.
Well, dude,
Like
Travis
he was really
Kelce.
bad this year.
Travis
Kelsey's
Kelce's
dead one.
the number 9 tight end on the year from what
You can't
I
take
mean
him
not
in the
9
first
tight end on
round.
the year. For the last like 6 weeks, he's the number 9 tight end.
Yeah.
First
So
round.
ever since Isaiah Likely and Njoku, Laporte have been playing out of their mind,
Njoku's
Jake
amazing.
Ferguson playing out of his mind. So so Lauren, who is yours? Because I know who
All
mine is.
right. My trash player, this kid, everybody talked about for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I was so
Damian Pierce.
Bijan Robinson is trash.
Oh,
Bijan.
Trash. Absolutely
yeah.
trash. It's such a waste of a first round draft.
You know what?
You too.
He really is, but I don't think it's as much. I think Bijan has the talent. He's just in a
Yeah.
bad team.
I
Same as
agree.
Arthur
but
Smith
I
is
think
trash.
Arthur Smith.
This year,
It's Arthur Smith.
this year, trash pick.
Well,
Yeah.
look,
Trash.
the other podcast says that Arthur Smith hates fantasy football, so it's just one.
Indications are that he's bringing Arthur Smith back. There's no
Yeah, I know,
indications
it's
that they're
crazy.
trying to GM or the coach.
No, it's bonkers.
None
It's
right now.
bonkers.
Who's your
Um,
draft pick, Clint?
No.
Mine is easy
yeah.
for me. Well, because I picked Bijan in the show league first round, but he was okay some of the year. Mine is in Hoofnagel. I had the back-to-backs. Well, I had the second to last pick, and I got Derrick Henry, which ended
Ooh.
up working out just fine. But Cooper Kupp, I got in the second round.
Yeah.
And, because I knew he was going to be out for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And I was like, okay, it's worth it anyway. And it wasn't. I could have definitely gone somebody else. Even Jalen Waddle would have been a better draft pick there. But, it's fantasy football. So, just like losing by a half point because of pass breakup or losing by 0.1 points because of a kneel
That's
down. I mean,
terrible.
what do you
Yeah.
do? I mean, there needs to be a way that Yahoo, ESPN, Sleeper, whoever you play fantasy football on can take away the negative points for the kneel down. It's
Yeah.
to win a game. Can
Yeah.
we, for the love of everything
It's
holy,
a
get
rushing
rid
bad
of that?
though.
It is a
No,
rushing
it's
game.
not though. But it's not
It's a
though.
rushing attempt.
You're kneeling down. You're kneeling
But
down
it goes
to
as
end
a
the
rushing
game.
attempt.
But it shouldn't.
Tell him to
That's
kneel
what I'm
forward.
saying.
Kneel
No,
forward.
bruh. Then you have the chance of losing the football. Look at what
You can't get
happened.
it both
Look at what
ways.
happened a million times this year.
Because I'm
Like-
pretty sure, like I bet,
It's
and
because
I
he
don't
must
keep
have
up
won
with these
because
things,
of
but
down and
there are much more people that do. I bet you if Lamar had a bonus in his contract, said he had to get 100 rushing attempts, and it was week 18, and they could go victory formation, they
Yeah.
wouldn't. They would throw the ball and would turn around and hand it off to somebody else. They would not let him get that rushing attempt to get that bonus. That goes for any
Yeah.
running back or quarterback. So
Yeah.
it has to count because it counts as your stats. And then
Yeah.
the year, when you're in that GM arguing, you're like, well, I carried the ball 400 times. You don't take those kneel downs out. You
So,
count those
I
in that
understand.
400 times you
So
carried the ball.
Clint, I feel like if the role was reversed and it was your opponent that got the kneel
He
down
would've said,
and
fuck it. Fuck your team.
Oh, yeah, no, for
they
sure.
lost, you'd be
Look.
like, yes, that's
Look,
the
if-
best stat ever.
Look, it's
You were like,
just
fuck
like
your
if I
team.
would have won because of a pass breakup, I get it, right? You know what I'm saying? So I have a fantasy question for y'all. This is like I need some
We didn't
advice
get Merle's.
Yeah, we need Kamish's trash pick.
Oh, sorry, Kamish,
Trash
I thought
pick,
you already went.
In Hoopnagle, I mean, I made the playoffs in despite of this mistake, but I went wide receiver, and it took Jalen Hurts. And so when I came to that fourth pick, I should have taken a running back, but I took Darren Waller.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. But all
He can get some
indications.
votes for he should not be named number 3.
But no, because he was hurt a lot. He was hurt a lot.
He always hurt.
Yeah,
I should take a running back.
Yeah. That's why you go. That's why
I never could find a running back the whole year. I ended up making a trade for ETN, but
Nice.
he was terrible towards the end of the year. So.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be good this week because Kiasha has him in Lucky 13, and she's.
I was out here running Justice Hill is like my RB2.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
bruh.
All right, I got one more football
And
question.
still
on
won.
fantasy football.
I still made the playoffs.
Favorite waiver wire pickup this year?
Oh, easy.
Trey
Sam
McBride.
Laporte.
Trey McBride.
I drafted Trey McBride.
Puka.
I
Yeah.
drafted Puka.
I
I
drafted
gotta go
Trey.
Tank Dell.
I drafted Puka.
Trey
Yeah.
McBride.
No, it's either Chuba Hubbard or Sam Laporta, but I think Sam Laporta wins that title.
I
You
know I got him in a
you
bunch of
drafted
leagues, too.
Kyron Williams, didn't you?
No, not
Who,
me.
me? I
No, I
didn't
think Kiasha did.
Oh, somebody
Somebody
drafted
did.
Kyron Williams.
No, I don't think.
I
I think that was a waiver pickup too. Kyron Williams was a waiver because Cam Akers
In the show league,
left.
probably.
Somebody drafted him in Hoopnagle.
And the
Honestly,
Yeah.
there are quite a few leagues that I got Njoku off the waiver wire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some,
off the waiver wire.
and that's
There
where
was some-
championships
some
are
real
made.
lagging leagues where they had short benches that I got Mostert off the waiver wire, like early in the season before the season maybe started preseason.
I
got
drafted
off the
Mostert.
waiver wire.
I drafted most of them.
Yeah.
Like I said,
But no, I mean,
drafted
look.
a lot of these guys, but they were late. I was not playing
The
to be
way-
no genius and think Mostert was going to get 20 touchdowns. When I got Mostert, it was like in
21.
round
Oh,
14
A-Chain was a
and
good waiver
after.
pickup too.
Every
So
time.
So here's the thing: you got the fantasy championships are won and lost by the waiver wire and paying attention. Yes, you need a good
100%.
foundation with your draft.
100%.
Yes, you need to make sure that you get your players because you want to feel comfortable with your team, but they're won and lost on the waiver wire. And we have 5 people here that will say the same exact thing because
100%.
monitoring the waiver wire is like I would have never made the playoffs if it was for Sam Laporta. I would have never gotten the championship game if it wasn't for Ty Chandler. Right. So it's like just it's like little stuff like that. Like I picked up Ty Chandler 5 weeks ago when Madison first got hurt.
Dude, I picked
I
up
would say
CJ
it
Stroud
depends
off the
on-
waiver wire. CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
They're
I would think it depends on the kind of player you are, though, because you guys play in a
Sure.
lot less leagues than we did this year. And they had this kind of conversation on like another
He's-
podcast earlier
he
today.
said waivers for
Mine would always be draft. The
Mhm.
house has to be solid because I feel
I
like
get
I
that.
think I know what I'm doing.
You need
Because
a
I
foundation.
just don't have enough time to waiver wire every single league and build it on
That's what you
Tuesday evening and
145
five.
feet.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I say it depends on what your objective is. Now, if you have 2 or 3
You are
leagues,
biased, Ferg.
waiver is probably for you. If you're in over 20 or 30 leagues, you gotta draft well. Because you're
Ferg
never-
is biased
you're
because he
never
loves
gonna
draft.
find
He's
out.
out there in
Clint
over
is right.
20 to 30 leagues.
No, Clint is right. And Jeff, you're right
I
also.
know.
Building your team, you have to build a team successfully through the draft, especially
Correct.
if it's a redraft, obviously. If
Great
it's dynasty,
foundation.
it's a different story. But in redraft, you
Mhm.
have to have that foundation. But Clint is 100% right. In almost every league, we keep hearing this phrase on different podcasts, different articles, different TV shows. This guy could be your league winner.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about your league winner, they're
Yeah.
almost always talking about somebody who was under the radar.
Could
And
be your Joe Flacco.
listen, I almost won a league 2 years ago. I had trash running backs all year. And at the very end of the year, I picked up this guy on the Jaguars, Dare Agumbawale.
Agumbawale, right? Yeah.
Won a
Right.
championship with Dare.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you gotta find those diamonds in
Better
Like I
in
said,
the rough.
It's matchups.
the waiver is 50-41. It's 59-41 to me. But it's like if you play in a league, some of these leagues, like, okay, we put in a waiver claim, we try to get this guy, great. But if you're one of those leagues where the waiver wires are wide open and there's a guy like one of the footballers or one of you guys who are getting pop-ups at 9 a.m. when damn Russell Wilson gets picked at 9:15, and you've already picked up Stidham by the time most regular people get off at 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Be like, yeah, I'll check my team. We got a game tomorrow. Oh my God, what happened? What happened? Oh my God! All of a sudden, Royce Freeman starting, and the guy who did the Rams have earlier, my guy they keep cutting every year, Darrell
Henderson.
Darrell Henderson went for 100 and got cut the next week. He was the number one waiver wire pickup that week.
And number one, I think he was top 5 that year.
Game. So,
I think he was top 5 that week, man.
That's why I be like, I gotta get the draft down, and then whatever happens, just have to happen.
Yeah, man. No, I get it. So okay, so can I gotta find this out, y'all. I need some help. I got Godwin against New Orleans, or Calvin Ridley against Carolina, or Tyler Lockett. Now this is all if Jordan Addison doesn't play.
Godwin.
So Godwin's been good recently, right?
Godwin.
All right, so we got first.
I'm gonna go Ridley. I'm gonna go Ridley. I'll go Ridley
again.
Even with a back.
So it's either Godwin,
and
Ridley. So So Godwin, Ridley, Tyler Lockett. Would need one player, and that's if Jordan Addison doesn't play. Because if Addison plays, I'll probably play Jordan Addison.
Well, the problem with Addison is Addison plays Sunday nights, and if he's
the only way I'm waiting on Addison is if I own KJ Osborne.
Yeah, the Xavier
Lawrence. You can only wait on Addison if you own KJ Osborne.
Okay. Well, and also last time Godwin played New Orleans, he had 8 for 114.
Last Monday, Godwin was talking about being questionable and not playing. So
yeah, I mean, he's not questionable. He's not on the injury report so far, and he's in my starting lineup as of right now.
I'm
going highest ceiling, and I think Ridley has the highest ceiling.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Can I just say that Ian has been selling us this Travis Lawrence to Ridley ticket since early August? Like every time I get ready to put Ridley on the bench, I hear Ian in the back of my head. Nah, he's gonna be a dude.
But what if
be a dude?
What if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play? What if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play?
If Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, I don't know nobody.
If Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, first of all, CJ Beathard is not a great quarterback, but he is a professional. You have no Christian Kirk. You have no Zay Jones. All you really have is Ridley and Evan Engram, and I love me some Evan Engram.
Okay, so then that brings up
based on volume alone.
And Parker Washington.
I like Ridley.
Not without Trevor.
Well, so look, I have a couple of this or him or him questions. Okay.
Him.
So this is with Stephon Diggs. All right. So do you want to play Diggs or Ridley?
I'm going to go Diggs.
Ridley.
I'm going to go Diggs only because it's against New England, and he shreds New England.
I say Diggs too.
Okay,
I'll go Diggs matchup base.
That's another one of those. Can I sleep all summer if I put Diggs on the bench over Ridley?
Yeah,
that's one of those. That's one of those picks.
Okay, so let me
like that.
Let me make a.
I don't know if I can sleep over that. I probably have to play him because I wouldn't feel good.
But you want to win. So if you wanted to win, right? Let's take sleep out of the equation. If you want to win, are you playing Diggs or Njoku? If you had a flex,
Njoku.
Right.
I have Diggs in a flex.
Yeah, if you had ability to flex, you play Njoku. Okay.
Yeah.
So would you play Diggs or Chuba Hubbard?
Diggs.
I would do Diggs.
Diggs is.
But see, Clint, this is you.
Pick.
Now, Clint, this is you doing it, the same thing that Jeff did.
I know.
You are betting with your heart. You're a Carolina boy.
But he's not a Carolina guy. He's a Texan.
No, he's a Texan.
I'm a fantasy football player.
You are living in Carolina.
I don't give a fuck about the fantasy.
Who is it? Carolina against Jacksonville?
Jacksonville.
I'm not mad. I could live with myself if I went to. Based on the coaching staff that they have right now.
At a certain age, the Panthers mean nothing to you.
Yeah, they mean nothing. I could sleep at night if I played Chuba and we lost. I could sleep.
Right.
I get Diggs there
because he's been getting all the looks. I mean, he's basically all they have.
He's still getting. I mean, Diggs is still getting 7.
But he's not doing shit.
He's getting the
Yeah,
volume.
Diggs
He's
did me
getting
in
the
last
volume.
weekend for the playoff edition.
No, but
He
there's
did a lot of people in.
But it's this
And it's New
concept of like
England.
regression
It's
to the
New
mean.
England.
I like eventually.
Listen, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah,
I am
I
get it,
Cooper
man.
and Diggs and Amon-Ra.
I mean, I get it. I'm just saying, I will probably play Diggs in the end when it comes to Sunday at like 12:50. But if I happen to miss it and play Chuba, and Chuba got 11 points, and Diggs
You
got
wouldn't be mad.
20, I wouldn't cry. I would be like,
Okay.
because this motherfucker been getting 5 points a game for I have a month and a half.
And
so
Chuba hasn't been under 15 in forever.
so I wouldn't cry. I'd just be like, I would be mad. I'd be a hypocrite, and I'd be like, you should play your studs.
Rasheed White for
but
Chuba.
I wouldn't cry over it.
White.
White.
He's been
White.
amazing.
Yeah.
Are you
Here's
kidding?
what- How about this one?
Yeah,
How about this one?
Rasheed Rice over Diggs.
No, not Rice. White.
Oh, Rashad
Rashad
White.
Rashad
I
White.
thought you said Rasheed. Rasheed from Kansas City.
Rashad White.
Or Rice. White on
We're
Rice.
mixing names.
Wow.
We're
Rashad
mixing,
White.
we're mixing our
The
black names.
Tampa
Let's get
running
our black
back.
names together.
The Tampa running back, right, Lauren?
Rashad White.
Yeah, Rashad.
Rashad White.
Sorry, Rashad. That's what
Yeah.
I said.
No, you said
How
I
about-
thought you
Rashid.
said
That's-
Rasheed.
I'm sorry.
How about
You know
Mostert
all those guys look alike.
or Swift?
Mm.
Swift
Mostert on
versus
a bus
Arizona.
Swift.
versus
Mostert.
Arizona.
Swift.
And Mostert,
Mostert.
who just scores a touchdown every week, regardless.
Swift
Every week.
Swift because you got the
No.
bum ankle.
Look,
Swift
I was
'cause
thinking
Mostert
about
got a
this
bum
earlier.
ankle.
So this is legit something I was thinking about earlier. Mostert and McCaffrey are tied for the lead with touchdowns.
21.
And they know that.
Yo,
Both
yes,
of
they do.
them. And so do the coaching staffs. And Mike McDaniel is that guy that wants to make sure that his guy is the guy. You know what I'm saying? And so he's going to want to give Mostert, like a couple of games ago, where he had 15 carries for 39 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
Right? That's all you got. If you get one score out of Mostert and 30 yards, that's 9 points. You're going to get 3,
I mean, he
4,
runs
5
a
catches
4-3,
for
but he's
25
Miami's
yards.
power back. So if
This
it's
is
in the
what
goal
I'm saying.
line, they gotta play him. But
You give
Goal
it.
line for the Eagles.
You go with Mostert.
I
Period.
feel like
I have
that
learned this.
once you've clinched the playoff spot, don't worry about whether you play at home on the road. You
Look.
play for week 19, week
Ian.
20. And if I got a chance of playing Mostert, I got to put Jeff Wilson or somebody to get a touchdown. I'm not
Look.
playing Mostert.
Ian,
If we can
something-
survive a Baltimore game without Mostert, I wouldn't play.
I am playing Mostert all day, and let me tell you why. Something I learned 3 years ago in fantasy football when I was 0-4 in Hoofnagel and then didn't lose the rest of the way because I had to think every week, did I want to start Josh Jacobs or James Robinson? Right? And
Oh,
James
yeah.
Robinson being the rookie, right? James Robinson I watched James Robinson on my bench 20 for 130 and 2. 25 for
Robinson.
160 and 2.
He was
But I had to start
amazing.
Josh Jacobs. So what did I do? I traded Josh Jacobs to Mike Barbie and then played James Robinson, won the regular season, and didn't think about it ever again. Didn't have to think about it ever again. Right?
Really
So
well
you
done.
play Mostert. You play Mostert because he's going to score. They're going to make sure he scores. And as long as you get a touchdown, you play Mostert. Period.
That doesn't make me feel good about Mostert's long term. Like he's
What did
gonna be
Christian
living
McCaffrey
Walmart
do
like James
against
Robinson
Baltimore last
did.
weekend, though?
Christian McCaffrey had 14
Oh, no.
carries for $104 and 2 touchdowns. What are you talking about?
He did not. I thought it was 1 touchdown.
Dude, he had 27 points, Lauren.
I thought it was 1 touchdown.
Was it 1 touchdown? Look,
That's
hold
why I
on.
thought it was strange. Like I thought it was interesting.
14. Yeah, so 14 for 103 and a touch, 6 for 28.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah,
you're gonna
27
have to,
points.
it's not a lot of people on the list that are going to play over Mostert. I'm just saying it.
No, I don't know.
It's
if there's
not a
any.
lot,
Dude,
just because I think
he's
he
the
could get
league
the
leader in
touchdown.
touchdowns.
But
Like,
ain't
how
good.
are y'all? It's just like
If I can hold out till Sunday
so-
without making, like if I had to play Brees on Thursday
So here's
or
why.
wait on Mostert on Sunday, I'll
So-
just go ahead and roll with Brees.
The reason
Mm-mm.
why I bring that one up, Jeff, is it's really the same question as Tua. It's matchup based. You're going to get now. I get it that McCaffrey went ham versus Baltimore, but he goes
You just can't.
against
you just can't stop
everybody.
him.
Yeah, that's
DeAndre
what it's
Swift
wonders.
is playing Arizona, and Arizona is the worst rush defense.
He has not been
And
good.
I said Swift. I went Swift.
He has not been
going
good.
Mostert.
He has
going
not been
Swift.
good, Ian. Look,
Swift?
I will
I'm
say
just saying,
Swift.
Swift has not been good. Period.
Yeah.
How many? When's the last time he scored more than 10 to 15 fantasy?
But he also
Like,
has to compete with Jalen
4
Hurts.
days
It's not
ago.
like he gets the goal line.
did he? Did he have a good
game?
game?
What do you have? 13
Oh,
points?
15 points.
13 or 14, I think.
Look, he has not been good. He has not been good. That's all.
I take my
would
chances
not trust
against the
him for
Cards,
shit.
though.
I mean,
For the same reasons you said stop betting with your heart, I'm not running Mostert out there against the Ravens. On a bum ankle, on New Year's Eve,
Dude, he always
on
has
the
a bum
road,
ankle.
when I got a shot to play Swift and the Philly offense, because eventually, like you said,
So
like
let me
Will
ask
said,
you a
regression to the
question.
mean. Eventually,
Look.
Philly offense is going to go back to looking like Philly offense, and it might come at the expense of the Cardinals this week.
All right, well, we're
It
up
just might.
against the clock. So let me ask you a question. We're up against the clock.
There's no clock.
No, I want to ask you something.
I got work tomorrow.
We've been talking about this all night long. Okay, the leading touchdown person, rusher, receiver in the National Football League, tied for first with Christian McCaffrey. 23 touchdowns total.
I'm just saying.
Are you going to be okay losing if he scores 20 on your bench?
Him, yes, because I took him in the 17th round.
Oh, yes, but he's the leading.
I'm just saying.
Like,
See, I feel like we can't take both. You can't. We
I
can't
don't
have
know.
an argument. We can't have an argument and say, "Don't play this guy because he's playing the Ravens," and then turn around and say the same on the same team. Say, "Well, we got to play this guy. We got to play this guy because he got touchdowns." Like Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and two of them been going touchdowns all year.
God.
You can't be the same argument. It's got to be the same argument across the board.
Okay, so
Either
let me,
you're
so
going
let
to
me
play
ask you
your
this.
Dolphins and say fuck it,
All
or
right,
you're
so
going to be like, maybe the Ravens defense is the 85 Bears.
all right, so let
and
me
I
ask
might
you a
need to
question.
shut the fuck up.
All right, so
They're
let
the
me ask you a
2000
question.
Ravens,
So,
that's what they are.
Are you so if you were to play fantasy
2000
NBA,
Ravens, even better.
if you were to play fantasy NBA in the mid 1990s, are you starting Scottie Pippen or are you starting motherfucking Michael Jordan? Fur,
I mean,
come on,
Matchup.
come on,
Well,
dude.
if it's
we're
fantasy
talking-
basketball in
if we're talking
89, 90 against
No,
the
if we're
Pistons,
Are
talking
you
I'm
starting
starting
Bill A. Beer or Joe
if we're
Dumars?
talking
Get
90
out of
Yeah,
my
they're Hall of
face.
Famers.
NBA where you have Jordan on the Wizards and Scotty
Yeah,
on the Bulls,
that
I'm
one.
starting
Yeah,
Scotty.
give me
I'm
some of
sorry.
that. Some of that
I'm
Houston
starting
Rockets
Scotty.
Scotty
No.
over that old ass Wizards
No.
Jordan.
No, look, no.
I mean, I understand
You've been
what you're
listening to
saying.
Scotty. You've been drinking Scotty's
I
Kool-Aid. You need to
understand.
calm
It's the
down with that
same.
shit.
It's the same reason why I can't. Like, it's the same reasoning behind when I tried to trade for Patrick Mahomes and they didn't want to let me have that trade. It's like it
That
looks
worked out.
bad. The optics of it look bad, even though Patrick wasn't shit. It's the same thing. The optics to you feel bad if you take the dude who's probably going to be in the Pro Bowl, who has a chance to lead the league in touchdowns, and you say in week 17 when I'm playing for all the money, you go over in the corner and just wait. I got this because I had a better option. Now, I'm not saying sit Mostert if you got to play fucking Michael Carter or some dumbass shit like that. But if we're talking at least apples to grapes, apples to oranges, is it Mostert over or Hubbard, Mostert with Hill, Mostert or Javonte Williams, Mostert and
No.
I give you a better one.
No.
Would you play? Well, they're going to play the 49.
Nope.
So you're telling me you wouldn't start Breece Hill on Thursday?
Breece
Because
Hall.
if you're saying Breece Hall,
Not
you're saying
against
Cleveland's
Cleveland.
defense is the shit.
No.
You just said Baltimore defense was the shit.
No.
You will
Because
wait
I
on
know.
Raheem Mostert in that bum ankle?
I know that he's going to score a touchdown.
I don't
You
know
don't
that.
know that.
Right? No,
I don't know that.
He's
I
gonna
don't
score a
know
touchdown.
that. I don't know that.
Put my
This
$5.
second-
This dude scores a touchdown.
You don't know that.
There is
I'll
no
take that
doubt
bet.
in my mind.
I will
No doubt.
self-sacrifice and take that bet.
No
against
doubt
Patriots
in
to
my-
win a touchdown.
There were
Just 'cause
3
it's for money.
times in the first 16 weeks
No
that
way.
he did not score
Yeah.
a touchdown.
It can
So
happen.
it can happen.
Sure, it can happen. So, are you going to take the chance that DeAndre Swift scores, or are you going to take the chance that Raheem Mostert?
If those are my options,
I'll
like if I
start
have
both
3
of them.
backs
I don't
and
care.
one of those
I
are
got
my
both of them. I'm
options,
starting them both.
but if I have to choose between those two,
Yeah.
let's say I got CMC,
Like,
DeAndre Swift,
Sure.
and Raheem Mostert.
You
Because
start
the way the
Mostert.
draft went this year, you easily could have all 3 of those dudes. on your
Yes,
team.
and you start Mostert.
And I can only start 2 of them. I'm starting CMC and I'm starting Swift because he's
Dumb.
playing against the fucking Cardinals.
Dumb.
No, I agree with that. I agree
No,
with you.
but that's
I'm just saying.
like
The only way I'm starting
Bro.
Mostert is I got to see the numbers, but ball don't like off the top of my head. I'll start running
Breathe,
backs off the top of my head.
buddy.
I'm not playing
Breathe.
them.
Jalen Hurts back a little
Would
bit.
you hold on? I give you one. Would you
he's not
start
even
Mostert?
comparable.
Here's a guy we just talked about. Would you
For
start
this
Mostert
week,
over Kyron Williams?
this week he is.
would you
this
start
week-
Mostert over Kyron Williams?
No.
No.
So Kyron Williams is an undrafted waiver wire pickup.
Right.
If you played Mostert because you took him into whatever round, or he has 20 touchdowns and he goes for 5, and Kyron Williams goes for 29, which one of those are you going to feel bad about?
Okay.
Because
So
I've seen Kyron Williams balling.
Here's how
I
I
would
think
feel
about
bad
this.
about leaving Kyron Williams on the bench.
When Kyron Williams has
Nice
been out there
have a
this
better
year, he's been
defense, though.
amazing. So he's been amazing, right? So like he's
Amazing.
been great. I would say
Mostert is touchdown dependent.
No, but hold on a second. Look, like, what does Kyron Williams' games look like? Like, I'm sure, from what I remember, the dude's super consistent when he's been healthy, right? Super consistent, 120-1, 90-2, whatever it may be, right? So Breece Hall, not consistent. DeAndre Swift, not consistent. Kyron
So,
Williams
but
is in a
Clint-
different league than Breece Hall. To me,
So,
I would
Clint,
pick
the
Kyron Williams
argument-
over Breece Hall every day.
Clint, so the argument here is not
Every day.
whether
Mm.
so the argument is not who is the better running back this season. Most
Right. Who's the
one
better
week.
The
this
We
argument-
just talk about
The
one
argument
week.
is not is who is having
Right,
the better.
I
The
get that.
argument is for this week. And once
Mhm.
again, given the circumstances, you have DeAndre Swift who is healthy. You have Raheem Mostert who is not. You have
He's
Raheem
never been
Mostert
healthy.
going- he is this year.
No,
He
he
has
hasn't
this
been.
Mostert and
He's been
Mostert
this
and
year.
He's been
Swift
on
have
the
hurt
injury
every
report
year.
every
Hold on,
week.
can I ask a question?
Everybody's
Is
playing
Jalen,
every week.
Jump in
you
there,
have
Lauren.
heard-
Matchups.
Ian, is Jalen Hurts still nursing like a injury of some sort?
He's just being
Yeah,
a little baby.
he's got a bad.
Everybody's
Then-
hurt. It's fucking
Let me
week
ask you a
17.
Yeah.
Would you rather
Everybody's
have DeAndre? Would you rather have Swift running in the end zone, or do you want to put the tush push? Like I would not want my quarterback doing all that work. This
Doesn't
close to
matter.
the playoffs.
He's going to.
He's
Well,
going.
he's already
going
set.
to
He's
get
already
the
set the record. Is there
What
really
I'm
any
saying
need for him to
is,
keep going?
for
He already
this
set the
week,
touchdown record.
for this week, not overall.
1 week.
Not better.
I know.
For this week,
Against the
I know that.
better
Will.
option
Right.
is
Will.
Swift.
Look, here's what I'm saying. I trust Raheem Mostert against Baltimore even to have the same game he had a couple weeks ago, where he had
Yeah.
12 carries for 36 yards and 1 or 2 touchdowns, and then he had like 3 catches for 8 yards. Who cares?
You
Dude's
got
gonna
that
score
Noah
15
faith.
points. Dude's
You
gonna
got
score
that
15.
Moses
You
faith.
know he's gonna he's gonna put up points because he's done it all year. He's done it all year consistent. Show me DeAndre Swift's
I don't
numbers
know,
this
the
year.
Ravens were really
And show
tough,
me
you know.
it doesn't matter, Lauren. I'm telling
I mean,
I'm
we're
telling you,
gonna
it
find
doesn't
out.
matter. Like no, because they're gonna get close to the goal line. Nobody can stop Tyreek Hill. Nobody.
But you
Here.
just said Baltimore was gonna beat
I
Miami's
didn't
ass.
say that.
Why?
I
That's what you
said
said earlier. They're
No,
gonna
I
blow
said
them out. They're gonna
No,
beat
no,
the shit
no.
out of them.
No,
That
no,
was
no.
what we heard
That was not
earlier.
me. That was not me.
So
That
you
was-
think Miami's
that
gonna
was
win this
Ian.
game, or you think it's
I
gonna be a
not
close
think
game?
Miami's going to win
I
this
think
game.
You
Miami's
think it's gonna be a
win this
close?
game.
Oh, Clint, you think this is gonna be a close game?
Berg, I said at the top of the show when you were like, why aren't they going to win? I was like, yeah, why aren't they going to win? I feel like Miami's going to win this game.
Well, then
I
that
don't
explains
think
it. He has faith. He has the faith.
I do have faith, but
He
no,
is a
I've seen the
disciple.
offense,
Me and
and
Ian
I've
just
seen
said Baltimore.
nobody can stop Tyreek Hill. I don't care who you name a corner. You name a corner on Baltimore that can stick with Tyreek. Nobody, because nobody in the league can stick with Tyreek. And what I have confidence in, because I've seen it all year, play the Jets even. Raheem Mostert, what was Raheem Mostert's game against the Jets? Let's check this out.
This is what I was
DeAndre
looking
Swift
up.
scored against the Jets. He had 18.
I was
points
looking
for
this
first
up.
for the Jets.
All right, so
Okay.
Raheem Mostert had against the Jets. He had 18 points. This is just this particular league scoring. He
I
only
mean-
had 42 yards on
So?
15 carries, but
So?
he got 2 touchdowns.
Exactly.
But last week against
You're on
Dallas,
mute, Maryland.
he got 11
Touchdown
carries
dependent.
for 46 yards.
And a
He
touchdown.
got no touchdown.
Because of Tyreek, you're gonna get to the goal line because of
Right.
Tyreek a lot. You're gonna,
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Even
I mean, he
if
got the
Jalen Waddle
passing
doesn't play-
touchdown, but we talking about Raheem as a
Bruh,
that was like his first passing touchdown all year.
it doesn't matter. He's going to score. They're going to find a way for this dude to score. You know Mike McDaniel.
It's like the
You know
Patriots running
NFL.
back. If you're gonna
Come
get
on,
close to the
man.
red zone, if
Yeah.
it's valuable, it's like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's gonna
But
Look,
then that mean that just discounts the Tua conversation. If we're gonna be running up and down in between the 20s,
nobody
and
said
being
you're
in
going to
the
be
red
running up and down.
zone,
Look,
look, that's what
I
hold on.
never said you're going to be running up and down.
To
I
be
just need a
getting close
touchdown.
enough for Mahomes to get a touchdown. Most to get a touchdown.
I just need a touchdown.
means between the 20s, Miami must be wheeling and dealing because they're ending up in the red zone for us to be worried about Mostert getting a touchdown.
Let me just tell you.
So why are we not going to play Tua here?
I just need y'all to have 3 drives where you get to the 10 to 12 to 15-yard line range so Raheem Mostert can score a touchdown. I don't give a damn about the rest of it because that's what's happened all year.
Did the 49ers have 3 drives like that? Because
it doesn't matter. CMC scored.
We're not getting the 49ers.
It doesn't matter.
Did he also take like 150 yards to the house, a couple of the 20, 30 screen passes?
But see, Lawrence, this is what I'm saying. Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill is the Christian McCaffrey in this situation. Tyreek Hill is going to make sure the ball gets somewhere close in the vicinity of the goal line because that's what Tyreek Hill does.
At least
because that's what Tyreek Hill does, right? And then Raheem Mostert's going to get one of them. Achan's going to get one of them. It's just the way it's going to work. And I don't care if Raheem Mostert has 12 carries for 36 yards. It doesn't matter. He might have a passing touchdown.
Sometimes, like y'all tell me, don't go with your heart. I'm looking at the games that Miami played, and I'm looking at them in a row. I'm looking at what he scored, and I'm looking at this piece of shit teams that they played where he got 1, 2, 3 touchdowns. And then I'm saying, if we're saying that Baltimore is on the cusp of elite level, he didn't score against Buffalo. He didn't score against Philly. He didn't score against Las Vegas, and he got a passing touchdown against Dallas. They shut the run down. And I don't think that any of those defenses are as good as Baltimore's defense.
All right, so hold on.
That's just my opinion.
So to your point, I feel you, but let's take a look at the tape here. So 5.75 points against Baltimore. He didn't score against Philly. It had 9 points, and he didn't score against Las Vegas and had 17.5 points.
No, well, in our scoring, he had 10, and that's what we got a touchdown. Otherwise, he would have had 3 points in that game.
And so, look, I'm telling you,
3.5 points.
All right, so then,
it's a 1 week thing. Fantasy football, like Ian said earlier, you got to get out your heart. These are 1 week championships every week, especially in the playoffs. Even if I got Josh Allen, whoever I have at quarterback, whoever the best quarterback in football is this year, if you tell me my champion, he has to play against the all white or all black, all pro team, I don't want that guy this week. It's the same thing. I'm not fucking with the Ravens defense if I have better options. As a fan, of course I got to run out there and be like, I'm going to tout my guys up. But I promise you, when I get on this phone later on the night, like I do every other night, and I start looking at these lineups, I'm like, Waddle with the bum ankle, let me put him on the bench until I hear otherwise that he's going to be 100%. If I got better options. Now, I'm not going to just run out there and play fucking Tutu Atwell over Tyreek for the stupid shit like that. But we talk about Mostert against James Conner, Breece Hall type dudes, Josh Jacobs if he's healthy. These kind of dudes, Kyron Williams, dudes who have been getting it in all year.
Dude, I got
to pause. I got to pause for a second.
We talked about this earlier. I would play Zaire White before I played DeAndre Swift.
Would you play Zamir White over? If he's the starter, would you play Zamir White before Mostert? And you know Jacobs is not playing, 100% not playing.
Probably not. But look,
that's a good one.
I don't know. That is a good one. I don't know. Probably not. I don't know.
After you just watched these cats throw the ball 9 times last game, you wouldn't play Zamir White?
But look. So to my point, consistency, right? So Raheem Mostert has 80 more fantasy points this year than DeAndre Swift. 80.
Okay,
that's significant.
1 week. It's just 1 week.
That's not 1 week.
I think what Clint is saying is Mostert has had a charmed season, and he's going to ride that charm.
He wants to ride his dog, and I get that.
No argument.
We said run with your studs, and if Mostert has made it on the stud list for 2023, you run with him. But if you have thoughts where you can be like, I have an option. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying it's like a stock that might pay me back $10 next week, or do I wait on the stock that's going to pay me $10.25 2 weeks from now? It's all about what you want to do.
I get it.
I won't have a problem going with Mostert and taking the L unless it's at the expense of just silliness. And I just feel like Kyron Williams is on flame right now.
I would go Kyron.
Yes.
If that's my
Kyron
option.
Williams.
I would go Kyron, but not DeAndre Swift. Not
DeAndre Swift, but not Swift. No way.
Hey, Clint.
No way.
Against the Cardinals?
Clint, who would you start?
I don't trust
this week.
Neither.
Raheem Mostert or Chuba Hubbard?
Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert, because I know he's going to score.
He didn't.
As I said,
you don't know he's going to score.
I do know he's going to score.
You don't know that, but you're comfortable.
You're confident.
I'm comfortable saying he's going to score because he has more than he hasn't.
So if Raheem Mostert gets 17 carries for 59 yards against that defense,
right,
and doesn't score,
right,
you'll live with it.
Are you going to be cool with that?
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
5.9 points.
Cool with it.
You'll live with that.
No, because he's not. Because it'll be 3 catches for 25 yards. So I'll have 10 points, and I'm cool with that too.
Maybe unless the ankle flares up. But while Kyron Williams is going for 27 or 28, you'll be all right with that?
Yeah.
You said Hubbard.
No, I'd go for Kyron.
I'd
go for Kyron. I'd play Kyron in a second.
Yeah, Hubbard is.
I mean, if I don't have a better option, I'm going Hubbard. But I
would go Raheem Mostert over Hubbard.
I base all of my equations on the fact that I have CMC, then I'm gonna have Mostert, and then I have another guy, and I only got to start 2. These other guys. But if it's Mostert is my number 1 and he's been my 1 all year, of course you got to run him out there. Like you can't just run out there with Jaleel. And I'm saying based on your roster, like you just can't play Swift and Jaleel McLaughlin or some shit like that. Like you got to go ahead and play Mostert. Yeah, but if I got a better option or if I had a James Cook option, maybe I'll think twice about that. Some shit like that. I would go Eckler before I would go Mostert.
I have Ty Chandler and Chris Brown. Is it Chris Brown?
Eckler before Mostert?
No.
If I have CMC, Mostert, and Eckler, I'm going Eckler.
CMC and Mostert.
I'm going Eckler too because it's a new coach and it seems like they've got a different dedication.
Yeah, go Eckler.
Yeah.
But that's my point. But we said earlier, it's this whole thing about everything comes up to this one stupid ass week.
One fucking
week. All this time and it's so random. So I mean, because rarely does the regular season champion win the playoffs.
It's true.
And it's just
100%.
like
I'm going for that once. I'm going for that.
Way fucking over. Merle, take the floor. Tell us what championship week should be. Give us the official commissioner of how it should go.
I don't know how it should go, but I just feel like, I want to entertain the thought of considering doing something like, ESPN has this option where you can do 2-week championships. And it's a little whack because but the only drawback is like week 18 week 17 is a little sketchy because sometimes a lot of people don't play their people. So I'm starting to think about, I play fantasy baseball. And I love the rotisserie style of having the entire season. You have 10 core stats, and you just basically, pick your players and then see who's the best at, at 10 core stats. And then at the end of the day, you see who's performed the best. And that's how you pick a champion instead of this random.
See, but that seems more.
I don't like this. No, it's not random at all. It's not random at all. But but you are basically making adjustments the whole season, and you're putting your best people out there. It's not the whole. You still have to play. It's not your whole team. You still got to.
I'm not a baseball guy.
You still have to pick your starters. In fantasy baseball, you pick your starters, and you put your starting pitchers out there. You put your starting left fielder, blah blah blah, and then based on what your starters do, whoever has the most hits, the most steals, the most best ERA at the end of the season. You look at who finishes first in each one of those categories,
but
and whoever has the lowest score is the champion. And it's just
generally in football, the better there aren't normally in football shitty teams that have individual players that have great numbers. Unlike baseball, where you could be on a team that wins 30, 40 games, but you could fuck around and lead the league in RBIs or home runs or whatever. That seems a little.
There's plenty of teams with like great wide receivers and the team's trash.
But you say wide receivers don't matter. You say they're suck.
They don't.
Okay, so that's one position. That's one position. But I can have like
Barry Sanders,
for example. Like if I feel like you should be in some kind of like these games should matter. Like these stats should matter. Like it doesn't fucking matter in baseball if you're playing the Mets or whoever in week 29 of game 147 if you go 3 for 4 that day. It fucking matters in football because there are only 18 chances to do this.
Right.
Those games matter. And then trying to take an average or a conglomerate of that because Addison's hurt now.
Yeah.
He might have a terrible week for you next week. But what if
You
it
don't have
isn't
enough-
that bad?
you
And he
don't
plays
have
in
enough
week
games.
18 because
Yeah.
Minnesota needs a chance to get in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
you don't have enough
And he
games.
goes
You don't have
10
enough
for
games.
200. Yeah.
But there's got to be something different than this 1 week bullshit. Like, there's got to be something that we do that, like, because it's not representative. Like, the champion, the Super Bowl champion is usually somebody who got lucky.
Yeah,
This
I get that.
this Amari Cooper shit is
So
bullshit.
which one is more important, the
bullshit.
regular season or the fantasy?
Regular
Why
season.
is
on the
Amari Cooper
tournament.
bullshit?
Super Bowl. It's
'Cause he
bullshit.
Scored like 50.
No, not Super
It's
Bowl. I'm talking
bullshit.
about in fantasy purposes. Is the
Everybody
regular
who got
season
into
more
that Super
important than the
Bowl with
tournament?
Amari Cooper is a fraudulent champion.
But
Every single
And-
one of them.
what
Unless
if
they
you
won
drafted
league.
Amari and you've been running with Amari all year?
You're a fraudulent champ because it's bullshit.
Because it's 1 week.
How do you say that's
One week.
fraudulent,
All right.
though?
So look,
Fraudulent.
so we can.
But
So
what
here-
if,
how
what
about
if you're
this?
the number? Wait a minute. What if you're the number
Fraudulent.
one team
Right,
and you
have
got
Amari
and then
Cooper.
you lost because
Oh,
of
you're good.
Purdy? But so you're the team that beat them was fraudulent.
If your team is trash and you had somebody score 50 points and that's how you won, your
But
team's
isn't that
fraudulent.
how this shit always goes? Like I'm the number one
Yes,
team.
that's the problem.
What
That's
if,
the problem.
What
That's what he
if,
said.
what if you
All right,
had
That's the
Cooper?
problem.
Go ahead.
What if you
Huh?
had Cooper who scored
Let's-
56 points, but you still won by 75?
Yeah. No, I'm not every team.
Yeah. No,
But
no,
there
no,
are,
not every
there are a
team.
lot of teams who were the 6th seed and beat 1 seeds off that bullshit. Now, that's the stuff I don't like.
But why is it
All right.
bullshit?
Oh,
So hold on.
Because
hold on,
one
hold on.
player, because if you had one player go off for 50 and you beat somebody by 10 that was way better,
Other
you
than
know,
the Chiefs, who was the
Get outta
last
here.
one to win the Super Bowl?
say what now?
Other than the Chiefs, who was the last one to win the Super Bowl?
Tampa
All
Bay.
you got to
Win
do
Super Bowl?
is get in.
New England.
Just get in. Get in the show. That's what you tell me every year in
Yeah,
Houston.
but you got to
Don't worry about
win
that
four-
shit.
But you got
Just
to
get
win
in.
3 games. You got to win 3 games.
Just get in. So if I win
Rams.
3 games because I held
That's
on
3.
to, like
That's
I
3
held on
games
to
and you
Jonathan
beat somebody
Taylor
else.
all year, and then all of a sudden he starts going off.
I
Or
mean,
if I had Kyron Williams, or if like fucking last week. If
I mean,
you
the
Tyler
had-
Giants,
like King Olay is a
ran
perfect
those Super-
example.
The
King
Giants are
Olay made
ran
the
those Super Bowl
championship
champions.
game because all his studs got hurt, and this
Yeah.
motherfucker played fucking KJ Osborne.
Happy New Year,
Guys,
guys.
Lauren,
I
gotta
didn't
say
see
bye-bye.
anyone playing
Hey,
KJ
let's do
Osborne.
Hey, let's
Yeah.
do this. Let's do this. Let's
It's like
table
the
that
NCAA. It's
conversation.
just trash. It's
Let's
trash.
table that conversation because it's a longer conversation, which we can definitely have. We've already gone over a half an hour.
Yeah, after the
Um,
championships of this week.
Yeah. So
After
let's
I
talk.
lose,
Let's talk.
after
Let's
I
talk
lose,
about
I'll
the
be complaining.
championship. So
I
Um,
hope that Clint is
yes,
right
Happy
and
New Year,
Mostert has
everybody.
9
Lord.
touchdowns. Goddamn.
All
I
right,
really hope
so,
you're right, Clint.
Ian,
Yeah.
final words. Final words.
Final word. I'm looking forward to competing against Lauren, my Paduan apprentice. And
Lauren is everywhere.
Lauren,
All right.
listen, I trained her.
Commish.
I hope I win at least one of these, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
see.
man.
Can I get my
All right.
money back?
Ferg.
Like,
Good luck.
Money,
yeah,
baby.
really,
Ferg
I
wants
just
to
want to
win
get
his
my
money
money
back.
back. I just
All
want
right,
to
Ferg
get my
wants to win his
fucking
money
money
back.
back.
We talked about that
man.
earlier. All right,
Woo.
I will say I'm looking forward to the 2 championships. I hope, like Merrill, that I win at least one of them because they're 2 friend leagues. So I hope I win at least one of them. And as always, fuck your team. And until next week, I am Clintonian. You got Ian the Champ, the
Nothing.
Commish, and Big Ferg.
Jazz
And
music.
we will see you next Wednesday.
You're gonna have to put tape over my mouth if Wyoming wins next week.